You've probably seen this man on TikTok. However, most people don't know what he has done and how it all came to be. His name is Wade Wilson, and he is admired by thousands, even though he is a convicted double murderer. Who is the man who polarizes social media so much? And how could it happen that a serious criminal goes viral like this? In this video, we will summarize Wade's story. Wade Wilson was born in May 1994. He spent his childhood with adoptive parents, as his biological parents were very young when he was born. His childhood was initially calm and normal, but Wade underwent drastic changes with puberty. At an early age, just 10 years old, Wade suffered his first head injuries, first from baseball, then a year later from football. He was not the first future offender to sustain serious head injuries as a child. Notorious serial killers like Richard Ramirez, John Wayne Gacy, and Edmund Kemper had similar accidents in their childhood. Is there a connection between these injuries and later disturbed behavior? This question remains unanswered. But for Wade, the downward spiral began. At 13, Wade started experimenting with drugs, and shortly after, he began dealing. His school noticed, and he soon got into serious trouble because of his deals. His adoptive parents did everything they could to help him, sending him to a psychologist. However, Wade refused any support and shut down all attempts to help. At 15 or 16, the justice system intervened. By court order, Wade was placed in a facility, but this did nothing to change his behavior. The problems continued, and at 18, Wade faced another serious setback. He was involved in a car accident. Wade was not wearing a seatbelt when the car crashed into a tree, resulting in another head injury. 2 years later, at 20, fate struck again. A further accident and a seizure following a drug overdose. Amid this crisis, Wade decided to reach out to his biological father, Steve. He was 18 when he first really met Steve. From then on, the two had sporadic contact, but the meetings were often marked by Wade's financial struggles. How he managed to stay afloat remains a mystery. However, Wade's tumultuous life and freedom came to a tragic end. On an October day when he was 25, his path reached a dark climax. On that day, the once-lost child became a murderer. It's October 6th, 2019. Christine Melton, a vibrant 35-year-old, is looking forward to a relaxed evening with her best friend Stephanie in Fort Myers. The two have known each other since high school, and the Buddha Live Club is one of their favorite places. Live music, drinks, a laid-back atmosphere. It's the perfect place to unwind together. The club has a nice vibe, not too crowded. Christine and Stephanie take turns hitting the dance floor and going up to the bar, laughing, enjoying the night. Since their move from Colorado to Florida, they work together at the same restaurant and spend plenty of time together outside of work. A strong team. But on this night, they encounter someone who will horrifically alter their lives. Wade Wilson, a 25-year-old man, joins the two women and seems especially interested in Christine. Although he's 10 years younger, he manages to come across as trustworthy. When the bar closes around midnight, none of the three are ready for the evening to end. Together, they decide to head to an acquaintance's place to wind down the night. Early on the morning of October 7th, they finally decide to go home. Christine invites Wade and Stephanie to her place to relax a bit more before the morning wraps up. But Stephanie soon heads out, leaving Christine alone with Wade. She has no idea that this friendly young man will soon turn into a deadly threat. They barely know Wade, just a few hours together, yet it was enough to think he was harmless. A fatal misjudgment. Sometime later, Christine falls asleep, exhausted. But Wade is far from ready to call it a night. He sneaks over to her and suddenly tightens his grip around her throat until Christine stops breathing. She dies in her own bed, never knowing what happened. Wade coldly leaves her behind, steals her car, and flees into the early dawn. But his thirst for violence is far from sated. As Wade speeds through Fort Myers in Christine's car, he spots a woman walking along Cape Coral Street. It's Diane, a 43-year-old waitress who decided to walk to work that morning. Wade pulls up next to her and asks for directions to a nearby school. Unaware of his intentions, Diane gets into the car to help. A tragic mistake. The moment she's inside, Wade attacks. He punches and strangles her, and Diane fights desperately for her life, finally managing to open the car door and roll out. But Wade takes advantage of the situation in the most brutal way. He slams on the gas and runs Diane over. Once, twice, again and again, until she no longer moves. Diane dies in the middle of the street, brutally murdered by a stranger she just met. When she doesn't show up for her shift, her co-workers immediately report her missing. By midday, police discover her lifeless body. The autopsy reveals severe injuries, strangulation marks, and numerous broken bones, clear evidence of the brutal attack. But Wade has already moved on. Just a few hours later, he appears at the shop of an acquaintance, Joshua, barefoot, dressed only in sweatpants, covered in blood, and clearly in a panic. "I need money for a bus or a plane. I just killed 2 people." His words send a chill through Joshua. But Joshua stays calm, pretends to help him, and quietly calls the police. When officers arrive, however, Wade has already slipped away again. A day full of terror, and Wade Wilson, the man who unleashed this nightmare, remains on the run. On October 7, 2019, Stephen Testaseca's phone rings multiple times. On the line is Wade Wilson, Stephen's biological son. Wade tells his father that he's killed 2 women, bluntly beginning with the words, "I am a killer." Stephen, however, doesn't take him seriously. Wade has always been one to spin tales and enjoys the dramatic. Their relationship, re-established only about 7 years prior, has been a difficult one, marked by Wade's troubled past involving drugs and violence. Stephen initially dismisses Wade's confession as yet another disturbing exaggeration. But as evening approaches, Wade calls again, and the situation escalates. His descriptions become disturbingly vivid. Wade recounts meeting Christine at a bar, and later that night strangling her as she slept. "I choked her," he says, devoid of any emotion. He explains that he tried to lift her body into her car, but gave up when he realized she was too heavy, opting instead to leave her behind and flee with her vehicle. Wade's story doesn't stop there. He continues to reveal more to his father, describing how he picked up Diane on the roadside, coaxed her into the car, then strangled her, and, while she was still alive, pushed her out onto the street, running her over multiple times. With a grotesque satisfaction, he tells his father he wanted her to look like a plate of spaghetti on the ground. Stephen begins to realize, with growing horror, that his son is not fabricating this nightmare. Stunned and overwhelmed, Stephen decides to switch his phone to speaker during the next call, allowing Wade's mother to listen. She is equally horrified by the chilling detail in Wade's account. Together, they make the painful decision to contact the police. Yet Stephen keeps up the ruse, pretending to be willing to help Wade. He tells his son he'll arrange an Uber and asks for his location. Wade gives an address, a house on Northeast First Terrace. Instead of calling an Uber, Stephen notifies the police, who then reach out to the homeowner. The homeowner confirms that he's out of town and had not given anyone permission to be in his home. Not only is Wade guilty of murder and theft, but he has also broken into this residence. There he made himself at home, helping himself to food, drinks, and even clothing. When the police call the landline at the house, Wade answers, demanding to speak with his father again. However, before they can apprehend him, something shocking occurs. On the morning of October 8th, another emergency call comes in. A man is attacking a woman on the street, trying to drag her into his car and threatening her. Fortunately, the police arrive just in time, and the woman escapes with minor injuries. At 8:50 a.m. on October 8th, 2019, Wade Wilson is finally arrested. The charges are staggering: 2 counts of first-degree murder, grand theft, assault, and breaking and entering. Within a matter of hours, Wade Wilson had ended the lives of 2 women and left a trail of destruction in his wake. Damage that could have been even worse had the police not intervened in time. After Wade Wilson's arrest, his ex-girlfriend Melissa speaks out, revealing shocking details about their relationship. She isn't surprised that Wade became a double murderer. To her, he was always two-faced, attentive, and understanding on one side, a monster on the other. Melissa and Wade met in June 2019, just months before he murdered Christine and Diane. At first, their relationship seemed promising, but only 2 weeks after they met, Melissa was at the police station reporting Wade for physical abuse and sexual assault. Although she later withdrew the report, the shadow of his violence lingered. Wade apologized, blaming his behavior on drugs and alcohol, but the trust between them was shattered. The situation escalated when Wade threatened Melissa, telling her, "I'm going to kill you now." She finally ended the relationship, cutting him out of her life. However, she had one remaining reason to reconnect. Wade owed her $80,000. On October 5th, just a day before the murders, she met with him again to confront him, accusing him of stealing her car. Tragically, on the morning of his arrest, Melissa became his next target, the woman Wade attacked after killing 2 others. Fortunately, she managed to escape and tell her story. During interrogation, Wade eventually confessed to the murders, but 5 long years passed before his trial began. In that time, he attempted a prison escape with another inmate, which was ultimately unsuccessful. He also became involved with a prison gang known for its racist ideologies. In 2023, Wade claimed in an interview that he was innocent and wrongfully convicted. He rambled about unrelated crimes and tried to link his case to the 2020 disappearance of a missing woman, though his story didn't hold up, and the police remained unconvinced. On June 12, 2024, Wade was found guilty on all charges. The jury recommended the death penalty, which was confirmed in August 2024. During his time in prison, Wade received thousands of messages, mainly from women seeking to connect with him personally. Some expressed sympathy, while others romanticized his case. Wade Wilson remains a complex and disturbing figure, and the testimonies of his former girlfriends raise a haunting question. Could he have been stopped? Wade Wilson, a man convicted of the brutal murders of Christine and Diane, has made headlines not only as a double murderer, but also as an object of fascination for many women. Despite his horrific crimes, he received thousands of messages during his incarceration, many from women who practically idolized him. This phenomenon is not new and has a specific name: hybristophilia. Hybristophilia refers to the sexual or romantic attraction to people who have committed serious crimes, especially murderers. Many of these women seem to see in Wade Wilson not just a convicted criminal, but a complex, intriguing figure that they romanticize in their minds. They are often drawn to the idea of saving a criminal or standing by him in his dark world. Public speculation often surrounds the motives of these women. Some may be attracted to the idea of being with someone who has so flagrantly defied societal norms. Others might feel a sense of power or control from being in a relationship with someone considered dangerous by society. Social media plays a significant role in this phenomenon. Clips of Wade's trial went viral, and while many users were horrified by his actions, there were also numerous comments from women expressing admiration for him. This dynamic between crime and admiration highlights how deeply rooted the fascination with shocking and taboo topics is in our culture. Thus, Wade Wilson is seen not only as a criminal, but also as a fascinating, albeit repulsive figure, an example of how hybristophilia manifests in modern society. That's all for today. I hope this video has made you think. One key topic we wanted to highlight is the immense influence social media has on our perception of people who find themselves in the public eye, especially criminals. It's unsettling to see how quickly and often people are idolized without the general public fully understanding the severity of their actions. In Wade's case, we see that, despite the atrocities he committed, many women are still sending him messages and even admiring him. I invite you to reflect on these points and join me in discussing them. If you like the video and think this topic is important, please give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. Your support helps keep these important conversations going and brings more awareness to these issues. Thank you for your support, and I'll see you next time.